All right, so today I wanted to do a quick book review on The Happiest Man on Earth. This is a book I just read. I'm not going to break it down really because I don't really want to give out any spoilers, but what I can say is that it is a very, very, very good book. It is of Eddie Jaku or Jaku. I will read the back just to start. Life can be beautiful if you make it beautiful. It's up to you. Eddie Jaku always considered himself a German first, a Jew second. He was proud of his country, but all of that changed in November 1938, where he was beaten, arrested, and taken to a concentration camp. Over the next 7 years, Eddie faced unimaginable horrors every day, first in Buchenwald, then in Auschwitz, then in a Nazi death march. He lost his family, friends, and his country. Because he survived, Eddie made a vow to smile every day. He paid tribute to those who were lost by telling his story, sharing his wisdom, and living his best life possible. Despite everything he had endured, he believed he was the happiest man on earth. So like I said, I'm not going to get into any spoilers, but it's a very good read. It is fairly, it's a very easy read. One thing that I wish that he got into a little bit more detail, not necessarily the bad stuff, just on day to day kind of stuff, how it was and all that kind of stuff. So it is fairly compact. I mean, honestly, I read this book in probably 3 or 4 days. It is like I say, a very easy read. If it was me, I would have gone into a little bit more detail. That's just me being picky. But honestly, I give this book like a 9 out of 10. Like it's very good. And as someone who's not a super big history buff, but definitely a moderately big history buff, I really enjoyed that because I mean, there's a lot of things he brought up that I didn't know, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know. I mean, everybody knows that what the World War II Germans did was absolutely atrocious. Like words can't even begin to describe how bad it was. But I don't think a lot of people understand the day-to-day aspects of it, and people don't know a lot of the stuff they do. Like there's a lot of things he brought up that it's like, yeah, I didn't know that, and um, I won't get into it, like I said, because I'm trying to not give spoilers, but there's a lot of stuff I just didn't know. But the thing that makes this book so good is number one, the fact that he can have unimaginable things done to him and still come out of it being very happy. I mean, if you want to put it that way, that's how he puts it. Um, but the other thing too is how did this guy survive? Like, how did he survive? And I think that there's two obvious reasons for that when you read the book. This isn't really a spoiler. This is something that's kind of obvious. The first one being he always had a very positive attitude, and the second one was that he was a very skilled craftsman, for lack of a better way of putting it. He built. He was good at building things, right? And that's how he survived, right? In that when people were taken to the concentration camps, if they weren't valuable in some way, shape, or form, they were killed, right? And that's terrible to think about, but that is how he survived. But again, getting into the story, I won't get into it deep. There is a seemingly seems like on a daily basis, like how did you make it through that? I mean, one thing I will bring up, like when he was saved, when he finally was saved, he was like 60 pounds, like a fully grown man. I mean, obviously you're not in weight, but like a man. Imagine being that malnourished and just all these health issues. Like, how did you make it through that? Like, I thought that to myself probably 50 times when reading this book. So again, I would give it like a 9 out of 10. It's a very good read. Like I say, it's a very easy read. So if you're someone that likes very in-depth analysis and stuff like that, it's lacking a little bit there. That's the only critique I have of it, honestly. And it's not a critique. I don't mean to be critical. That's just the only thing that I would have changed. And again, if you look on reviews on Amazon, on any site, this Goodreads, like they're all very good, and you can tell like it's very good, and I think it's important for people to read this kind of stuff just to know this, because there's a lot of people nowadays that seem to forget just how valuable the concept of freedom is, right? And this stuff did not happen that long ago. And this is another thing that bothers me about people nowadays, is that they don't seem to realize that everything can be taken away very easily, right? People have gotten into this um, sense of every nothing can ever go wrong, and like in his situation, right? Everything was fine, and this is something that it's. I mean, the you if you were paying very close attention, you could have seen it coming. Like what happened in 1920s and 30s Germany. I mean, if you were paying attention, but the majority of the population is not paying that close of attention, right? And the other big problem too that they ran into back then is that there was technology. It made it very hard for things for news to spread, at least compared to nowadays. Nowadays, the problem is you have fake news coming out. Um, and just propaganda coming out. So that's a different story in and of itself. But again, to sum it up, very good book, definitely worth a read. Um, the amount of like just he's the kind of guy you want to root for. Um, actually a good writer too. Like I'm surprised. It's definitely well written. That's another thing that I was very happy to see. And like I say, like probably like junior high kids could easily read this and easily understand it. So anyway, that's what I wanted to bring up today. I'm not going to make it too long. So if you liked the video, hit that like and subscribe and stay tuned for more.